कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा बनचारी जमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन जमुना तीरा बनचारी जमुना तीरा बन जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य शतोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणार वृंद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टुकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनं च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। बोर्ड पे टेक्स्ट नंबर 33 लिखा हुआ है. It's text 23, but yesterday since we didn't read 22, so we will just read verse number 22 and then we'll get on to this verse number 23. So we are in Canto 6, chapter 2, verse number 22. द्विजपाशाद् विनिर्मुक्ता गता विप्रकृतं गता ववन्दे शिरसा विष्णु किङ्करान् दर्शनोत्सव. Translation. Having been released from the nooses of Yamraja's servants, the Brahmana Ajamil, now free from fear, came to his senses and immediately offered obeisances to the Vishnudutas by bowing his head at their lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamraj. Purport. Vaishnavas are also Vishnudutas because they carry out the orders of Krishna. Lord Krishna is very eager for all the conditioned souls rotting in this material world to surrender to him and be saved from material pangs in this life and punishment in hellish conditions after death. A Vaishnava therefore tries to bring conditioned souls to their senses. Those who are fortunate like Ajamal are saved by the Vishnudutas or Vaishnavas, and thus they return back home, back to Godhead. And now, verse number 23, जो बोर्ड पे लिखा हुआ है, we'll read that. तम विविक्षुम अभिप्रेत्या महापुरुष किंकरः सहसा पश्यतस्तस्य तत्रान्ताधीरे अनघ तम विवक्षुमभिप्रेत्य महापुरुष किंकरः सहसा पश्यतस्तस्य तत्रान्तराधीरे अनघ तम विवक्षुमभिप्रेत्य महापुरुष किंकरः सहस पश्यतस्तस्य तत्रान्तराधीरे अनघ. एक प्रभु जी और एक माता जी प्लीज. तम विवक्षुमभिप्रेत्य महापुरुष किंकरः Mataji's? Anybody? Tam vivakshum abhipretya mahapurusha kinkaraha sahasa pashyatastasya Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O sinless Maharaj Parikshit, the order carriers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Vishnu Dutas, saw that Ajamal was attempting to say something, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. Purport. The Shastras say, Papishtaye durachara deva brahmana nindaka apatya bhojana tesham akale maranam dhruvam. For persons who are papishta, very sinful, and durachar, misbehaved or very unclean in their habits, who are against the existence of God, who disrespect Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and who eat anything and everything, untimely death is sure. It is said that in Kali Yuga, one has a maximum lifetime of 100 years. But as people become degraded, the duration of their lives decreases. Prayena alpa ayusha. Because Ajamal was now free from all sinful reactions, his lifetime was extended, even though he was to have died immediately. When the Vishnudutas saw Ajamal trying to say something to them, they disappeared to give him a chance to glorify the Supreme Lord. Since all his sinful reactions had been vanquished, he was now prepared to glorify the Lord. Indeed, one cannot glorify the Lord unless one is completely free from all sinful activities. This is confirmed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drida vrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. The Vishnudutas made Ajamal aware of devotional service so that he might immediately become fit to return home back to Godhead. To increase his eagerness to glorify the Lord, they disappeared so that he would feel separation in their absence. In the mode of separation, glorification of the Lord is very intense. Om Jnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, in this section of the Ajamal Leela, we have just witnessed, or we have seen Ajamal go through what we call in today's world what? NDE. NDE मालूम है आप लोगों को? Near death experience. Even today, you know, a lot of times doctor declare somebody dead. Dead declare कर देते हैं. And then after hours, that person comes back. He starts breathing. And most of the time, doctors don't have any explanation. See, medical science is also limited, whether we like hearing it or not. So they don't have an explanation. How did this person become alive? Near-death experience. Ajamal has just gone through that. So even before we come to this understanding of this verse, and especially the purports that Prabhupada has given are very powerful, I'd like to explain this experience of death. This experience of death can be diametrically opposite for two different people. What does that mean? I'll explain it through a worldly example. Because sometimes Shastra ko samajhna thoda mushkil hota hai. Through worldly example, it's easier to relate to Ajamal. See, there is a girl. She's going to get married. So this girl is very fearful. Her marriage date is coming and she's very fearful. She's very scared. Now we are talking of, you know, the Vedic culture, marriages, and where everything happened in a very Vedic way. So it's an arranged marriage. So she does not know much about the boy. She does not know her father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, kya hai, what to expect. I'll go to that house. whether in the morning I can apply nail polish or not. So she's very fearful. Why is she fearful? Unexpected. She doesn't know what to expect. Right? There's another girl. She's also getting married. But she's very happy. Why is she happy? दोनों का marriage हो रहा है ना? She's happy because the boy she's going to get married, she's loved him for 3 years, 4 years. She's been going to his house. She knows the father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law. She's been going and making tea, coffee. She knows exactly chai ka dabba kahan hai. Everything she knows. And the mother-in-law and father-in-law also waiting. Please come. They are waiting to welcome her. So she's happy. She's been waiting for this day rather. Right? Can we relate it to death? Death for one person is like that first woman, where this person does not know what to expect. उसने कभी सुना ही नहीं है. He's never heard about Krishna. He's never heard of Vishnu Dutas. He's not heard of Yamadutas also. He does not know what to expect. And suddenly when the death time comes, everything is being taken away from him. And when he gets to see the Vishnu Dutas, right? I'm so thankful to the BMS students, who did that drama. देखिए, पढ़ते हैं, it is good. But when you see, you get a glimpse of what to expect. It's made my chanting very serious. When I'm not chanting focus, I remember of that drama. Just seeing those Yamadutas, better chant seriously, huh? And then they showed us the Vishnu Dutas also. You feel so good. So this person, why he is fearful? Because of the unexpected. He does not know what to expect. And now everything is being taken away from him. He's fearful. Right? And who's the other person? A devotee. He's joyful. Rather, he's been waiting. Right? For him, what is the experience of death? Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj. I had told in my last class, he was as good as hearing the flute. He said that I am not ready to trade the situation that I am in today. His leg is amputated, his backbone is broken, he's in so much pain, but he's in bliss. कभी होता है ऐसा? Why he is in bliss? Because he knows what to expect. So a devotee, for him, what is death? He knows exactly what to expect. He's as if to say, seeing Krishna is waiting for him. Recently, one of my god sisters passed away. Naini Sundari Mataji, for some of you who may be knowing. Maharaj actually told her, Krishna is waiting for you. How fortunate she is, huh? To be told by your guru that Krishna is waiting for you. So for the devotee, he knows what to expect. He's already heard and he's been waiting, literally, you can say. Right? So these two death experiences are diametrically opposite for two different groups of people, right? And we see here, even before we get here, let me point this out. A lot of times when we hear this, Shastras, and we hear of Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, so for the common people, it seems कि प्रभु जी ये सब सच है कि नहीं, ये सब शास्त्र में है, आज के तारीख पे 2022 में ये सब होता है क्या? These principles were valid, are valid, and will remain valid. ऐसा मत सोचो कि it's 2022, अभी तो we are so advanced. No, these are universal principles. I just gave example of Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. I'll give you another example, personal experience. Not personal, I didn't experience it. I saw somebody experience this. One of my aunts, she was, you can say, into everything. Meat eating, gambling, intoxication, everything. Rather, I still remember her words. When I was young, I had left my house, I went to an ashram. She used to tell me, Ram, you don't know what you are doing. I said, why? When you go to God, God will ask you, meat eating kiya? Nahi kiya, He will send you back. That was her understanding. You didn't drink, He'll send you back. She was so convinced of what she was doing. So long story short, when her end came, I used to be that time in US, I got a call late night, early morning, which was late night here. My sister called me. And she said, I don't know what my aunt is going through. She's actually yelling, save me. Words were also not coming out. Save me. Now, I have some understanding, I could relate to what is happening. This is Ajamal's story in today's day. Radha Vrindavan Chandra Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Darshan ji ki jai. So I could relate. Yeah, Ajamal ka, rather today's Ajamal pastime must be happening more than it happened anytime else. I just told my sister, if you have tulsi, she had tulsi, put it in her tongue, take Prabhupada's machine, go and play it in her room, go and read Bhagavad Gita. Morning, I got a call. Within minutes, she became peaceful, and in a few hours, she left her body. Now, I'm not saying she saw Vishnu Dutas or what. I'm not saying that. The point I'm trying to make is this principle works even today, 30th November है ना आज 2022. ऐसा मत सोचो कि ये सब शास्त्र प्रभु जी, a lot of devotees people have told me, प्रभु जी किसने देखा है? No. Ajamal went through. If you don't follow what Ajamal was doing, you will also go through. If you do what Ajamal went through, you will also go through that. The principle is still the same. So if we see in this Ajamal pastime, coming back to Ajamal pastime, Ajamal went through both these experiences, right? We heard he saw the Vishnu Yamadutas fearful, totally scared. And then finally what happens? Yamadutas come. The Vishnu Dutas come. We've heard through all that, right? And now we are at this part of the section where the Yamadutas have left. And the Vishnu Dutas are in front of him. Now these two verses are really very, very powerful verses. And especially the commentaries that Prabhupada has given. In each line of that commentary or each paragraph of that commentary, actually we can have a class. They are so powerful. And that is why I request all devotees always, wherever I speak. See, for a speaker in half an hour, how much justice can we do these commentaries? Right? We can just give a high-level understanding of what Prabhupada is doing. Please read these commentaries. And especially if you read it today, to fresh rahega na. If you go back and read Prabhupada's purports, so powerful, so deep. Vishnu Dutas are there and Yamadutas have left. In the verse number 22 purport, do you know how the purport starts? So powerful. Prabhupada starts the purport saying what? Vaishnavas are also Vishnu Dutas. Abhi iske upar to we can talk for hours. Vaishnavas are also Vishnu Dutas. Why? And he gives the reason. Because they carry out the orders of Krishna. Vishnu Dutas kya karte hain? Vishnu Dutas are order carriers of Lord Vishnu. What are Vaishnavas doing? Vaishnavas are doing the same thing. So imagine, today we'll try to talk on this subject of Vaishnavas. How Prabhupada is establishing that they are Vishnu Dutas. That means when we get connected to Vaishnavas, when we are around Vaishnavas, we can expect or we can achieve the same what Ajamal has achieved through the Vishnu Dutas, right or wrong? Prabhupada is very clearly saying Vaishnavas are Vishnu Dutas. How? Let us understand. And then we'll come to other parts of the Vaishnavas also, other parts of the purports also, where Prabhupada is establishing the same thing. And if you see the mood and even the verses, the Vishnu Dutas, they left immediately. It is said in this verse. And why they left, we'll come to that also. But first, let us try to understand this part. Vaishnavas are Vishnu Dutas. To understand this one line rather, where do we have to be? We have to go to Kulinagram. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Kulinagram. And he's being asked. He's being asked by the residents of Kulinagram. Mahaprabhu, who is a Vaishnava? Because see, if we first don't have an understanding of what it means to be a Vaishnava, who is a Vaishnava, then this statement of Prabhupada, right, that Vaishnavas are Vishnu Dutas, will it make sense to us? Will we give importance to that statement? That is why first we need to understand ki Vaishnava, what does it mean to be a Vaishnava? Imagine, because Prabhupada is comparing them to Vishnu Dutas. So this question is being asked by the residents of Kulina. Satyaraj was one of the residents. The first question he asked, Vaishnav K. Now I know a lot of you all know the answers also. मालूम है प्रभु जी. But we have to keep hearing. Right? We have to keep hearing. Why? To remind ourselves. इसको refresh करना पड़ेगा. So when he asked Vaishnav K, what is the response that Mahaprabhu gave? प्रभु को है जारा मुखे सुनी एक बार. कितना बार? एक बार. सुनी एक बार. कृष्ण नाम शै पूज्य श्रेष्ठ शोभाकार. This is Mahaprabhu's response. Who's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. This Krishna responding, ki who's a Vaishnava? Jara mukhe ek baar. He's not saying, he's saying anybody who utters Krishna's name once. One time, ek baar. I'm reminded, one time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sitting in his ashram and a lot of his disciples came running. They showed him an article. An article had been printed which was criticizing, blaspheming all the activities of Gauriya Vaishnavism. They are creating so much disturbance and they were all very disturbed, all the disciples and the Gauriya Vaishnava, that such an article, why have they written? They are defaming us. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur read that article. He said, let me read. He read that article. And after he read that article, what was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's response? He first smiled. So all the devotees were wondering, such a degradatory article and Prabhupada is smiling. Why was he smiling? He explained to them. In this article, 5 times, 5 or 6, I don't know, please don't hold me for 5 times, the name of Krishna is mentioned. Whoever will read this article, what to talk of one time? Mahaprabhu is saying one time. 5 times they will utter the name Krishna. No problem. Can you imagine? This is the Vaishnava that we will be understanding. Mahaprabhu is saying, one time anybody utters the name. Our Srila Prabhupada went to the extent of saying, even if they don't utter, if they just hear. One time, His Holiness Indradum Swami Maharaj was sharing with us. He's shared it in many places. That in the good old days, when they used to go out for Sankirtan, Harinam, so they used to come back every day and they used to report to Prabhupada, Aaj kya hua Sankirtan mein. So one day, Maharaj came back, Indradum Maharaj came back and he was reporting to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, today we went, we did Sankirtan, but do you know, there was one lady. What she was doing? She put her finger in her ears, not ready to hear. She's such an antagonist that she doesn't even want to hear. She put her hands in her ears. She was closing her ears. What was Prabhupada's response? Prabhupada told him, you should have actually gone, pulled her hands out and chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram in her ears. See, why do you think हम लोग रोज सवेरे हरि नाम पे जाते हैं, आधा घंटा शाम को जाते हैं? We don't know what's the benefit. One time. I'll tell you on my personal experience also. See, I used to be in US, and in US में क्या होता है? When you have cars, in the car का जो number plate होता है, you can personalize it. Instead of numbers, you can put anything you want. You can put your name also. They charge you extra. So most of our devotee cars का जो tags होता था ना, we would have names. Krishna, Radhe, Gaura, Nitai. All my 17 years, my tag was Gaura. Because it's easier for Americans to relate to Gaura. So I put it as Gaura. So I'll share something. When I heard this, कि एक बार बुलवाना है खाली, one time, let me do something. So I was in Detroit. For some of you who may not know, this place, 99% population are all black Americans, African Americans. उनको हम लोग जिनको blacks बोलते हैं. And there's very small percentage of whites and most of the others are Asians. And the society I stayed in were all blacks. I was the only Asian. Can you imagine? So then I thought, इनको कैसे बुलवाने का, because I heard this. I'm talking of 2002-3. कैसे बुलवाने का? So I came up with a strategy. Devotees over there, we keep doing all crazy things, It won't work in India. So whenever I would be stepping out of the society or coming back into the society in the car, I will see a lot of these Africans. So I would stop one of them. I'll tell him, I need some help. Yeah. Tell me, what do you want? So I would ask them, hey, do you know, I just heard that somewhere close by in the neighborhood over here, one new mall has come up. Oh, really? What's the name? I would tell him, Gaura. Suna hai aapne? And I would not move till I don't get him to say. I would tell him, did you get the name right? No, what was it? And then he would say, Gaura. Jahan usne Gaura bola, ma'am, whether you know or not, I will tell him, if you get to know, just let me know. At least he told Gaura once, bhai. So, first level, Mahaprabhu says, one time if somebody chants the name of Krishna, next year, again, Kulinagram residents are asking him a second time, Vaishnav K. Why did they ask him 3 times? Mahaprabhu was inspiring them to ask because Mahaprabhu wanted to establish what it means to be a Vaishnava. Because he already told them one time, then why next time they are asking? Mahaprabhu wants to establish. Second time they again ask, Mahaprabhu, Vaishnav K. What was the response? Krishna nama nirantara jahara bodane shei Vaishnav shreshta bhajo tahara charane. Last year he said, Ekabar. Now what is he saying? Krishna nam nirantar. This is next level of, higher level of Vaishnav. And he's saying in his badan means in his existence, he's all the time, you can say, immersed chanting Krishna's name. Haridas Thakur is chanting 22 hours. He is not chanting 2 hours, then we are chanting 2 hours. That's the only difference between us and Haridas Thakur. Big difference. For us, chanting 2 hours is a struggle. And for him, not chanting 2 hours is a struggle. If he would not have any activity, he would have chanted 24 hours. 22 hours he's chanting. We all know of, what was his name? Gopal Guru, right? He saw one person, he was so addicted to chanting, this Vaishnava. All the time he was chanting Krishna's name. Krishna, Gaura, Gaura, Krishna, Krishna. But only when he used to go to respond to nature's call, so he used to think, Arey, main bathroom ja raha hoon. It is very moochi. How can I chant Krishna's name? So what he would do? He would actually hold his tongue. I won't chant Krishna's name. And then he would pass urine and stool. So when this Gopal saw, he caught him. He said, hey, what are you doing? He said, no, I can't chant Krishna's name when I'm going to, it's so moochi. Arey, Gopal explained to him, you are so fortunate. What if you leave your body when you are passing urine and stool? Chant. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got to know this, what happened? He said, Gopal, you have understood it so perfectly. You are fit to be a guru. He gave him the name Gopal Guru. Usko Guru bana diya. Because he understood this principle. Nirantar. Now, we need to understand, get a bit of higher understanding of this Nirantar also. Because see, a lot of us might say, Prabhupada used to chant only 2 hours, no? 2.5 hours. We are also chanting only 2.5 hours. What about the other 22 hours? So what does chanting do when we chant? It is connecting us to Krishna, right? The holy name, through the holy name, we are connected to Krishna. Prabhupada, even when he is not chanting, he is connected to Krishna. To the degree whenever we are in any situation, see, when we are in a difficult situation, what comes out if we fall down? Oh, hell. That means we are not connected. Vaishnavas लोगों को गिरता भी है तो, oh, Krishna, Radhe, Gauranga. That is the meaning. Nirantar ka matlab, are we connected to Krishna constantly? And that is what is the third level, third year, again Mahaprabhu comes back to Kulinagram. Same question. Vaishnav ke. So now what answer does Mahaprabhu give? This is the very important one. Jahara darshan mukhe aishe Krishna naam tahar jani ho tumi Vaishnav pradhan. Pradhan Vaishnav ye hai. Jahara darshane, in whose presence, just by seeing him, being in his presence, what happens? Mukhe aishe Krishna naam. Real Vaishnav jo hai na, Pradhan Vaishnav, ye. In whose presence, he doesn't talk, he doesn't give you any instruction. You are just in his association, in his presence. What happened? You utter the name of Krishna. That is what Mahaprabhu is saying. That person is a Pradhan Vaishnav. And actually, that is the Vaishnav whom Prabhupada is mentioning here in this purport. He is comparing this Vaishnava to a Vishnu Duta. I am reminded of one instance in the life of Srila Prabhupada. One time I was in Atlanta, and one of Prabhupada's very, very senior disciples, Her Grace Malati Mataji. See, these are the, first timers of Prabhupada, the first few disciples of Prabhupada. I was very fortunate, she was staying with us in our house for one night. So, long story short, I just went in the night to check whether they are comfortable or not, because she had come with 5-6 Matajis, so we had to move out. So I went in the night to check whether she's comfortable or not. So when I went, she said, we are all very comfortable. And she spoke to me for 1 hour. I'm talking of either it was from 11 to 12 or 10 to 11, something like that, so late in the night. She was so tired, but she sat and spoke to me. And one thing which she told me is very relevant to what we are talking here. She told me, Prabhu, you know what? When Prabhupada came in the West, in the good first days, few days, she said, Prabhuji, you know what? Actually, what Prabhupada used to speak, what Prabhupada used to share with us, made no sense. हमको समझ में ही नहीं आता था. One was his dialect, he's a Bengali, so his accent was very heavy. So they could not understand that, dialect-wise. And second, whatever he was sharing also, you're not the body, you're the soul, 3 modes of material nature. She said, it made no sense to us. We couldn't relate to it. Then what? She shared. What kept them? She said, was his personality, his achar. She said, we just wanted to be with him. This is what Krishna is saying. In whose presence, she said, we just wanted to be with him, and then whatever he would tell us. And we know the first thing that Prabhupada gave everybody was the holy name, right? ISKCON ka foundation kya hai? Holy name or prasadam. This is foundation of, because that time there were no books. Books had not come. Philosophy, Prabhupada itna philosophy bhi us time nahi baat karte the, because he knew these people may not be able to relate. So he used to talk of holy name and prasadam. So she said, the personality of Prabhupada was such, it was so powerful that we just wanted to be with him. Even though we didn't understand, we could not relate, but we wanted to be with him. That is what he's saying. In whose presence one gets connected to Krishna. Ye Vaishnava. Vaishnava Pradhan. And this Vaishnav is whom Prabhupada is comparing here in this purport. That Vaishnavas are like Vishnu Dutas. And he gives the reason why they are like Vishnu Dutas. Because they carry out the orders of Krishna. What is the order of Krishna for Prabhupada? That is what he... What is the order of Krishna? We read in the purport. Krishna at the end of the day wants all the jivas finally to be connected to him. Prabhupada ka mission kya tha? Wahi to tha na. Prabhupada never, nothing else. So now coming to the next point, to the next verse. These Vishnu Dutas now are, they have seen, as it's mentioned in the purport also, that Ajamal has been cleansed, purified of all his sinful reactions, right? Now what's going to happen next? Vishnu Dutas know. What are they going to do? They are going to thank the Vishnu Dutas and they are going to glorify the Vishnu Dutas, right or wrong? If somebody does for us something, don't we thank and glorify that person? So Vishnu Dutas know that. What did the Vishnu Dutas do? They immediately disappeared from there. And Prabhupada gives the reason for that also. Yes, sir, purports, please, aap log padho. Because we cannot cover up everything, but I'll read that line. When the Vishnudutas saw Ajamal trying to say something to them, they disappeared. Why they disappeared? To give him a chance to glorify whom? The Supreme Lord. This is another quality of Vaishnava. Try to understand why Prabhupada has compared these Vishnudutas to Vaishnava. Vaishnava kaun hota hai? Vaishnava is not one when he gives a class, he'll wait for the class to be over. Sab log, Prabhu, kya class diya aapne? Vaishnava is not one who does kirtan and then he's waiting, kab bolega, Prabhu ji, aap kya kirtan karte hain? He doesn't want to be glorified. He wants what? Prabhupada is saying. He wants them to glorify Krishna. And how is this? We won't be able to get to the last part, but I'll explain something very important again of a Vaishnava. How is this? See, everybody, whenever we do something, at least we expect a thanks, but ye Vaishnava ka bol raha hai ki he just doesn't want anything for himself. How is this? We sing, right? Tomar hridaye sada Govinda beshra Govinda kahe na mora Vaishnava para. ये वैष्णव है. Because वैष्णव का हार्ट में क्या है? तुम्हारे हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम. And what is Govinda saying for the Vaishnava? Govinda kohe na mora Vaishnava para. So can you understand what a loving relationship is there between this Vaishnava and Krishna? How much, what is the position of this Vaishnava? In terms of, from Govinda's viewpoint also. We'll understand this now from another perspective. See, we understood who's a Pradhan Vaishnava? One in whose presence only one is reminded or connected to Krishna. Okay? That's the highest Vaishnava. We saw 3 levels. One who chants once, one who chants constantly, and one in whose presence one is reminded, connected to Krishna. Now we are talking of this Pradhan Vaishnava, in whose heart we are seeing Jhara Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishram. What is this Vaishnava? In simple terms, we say he loves Krishna. Right? That is what. He loves Krishna and Krishna loves him. What does it mean to love Krishna? Let us understand this. I'll explain it at 3 different levels. We have 10-15 minutes. At 3 different levels, we'll try to understand what does it mean to love Krishna. Ye Pradhan Vaishnav jo hai. First, if you love Krishna, and we'll understand this through the topmost Vaishnava, Krishna himself, when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why did he appear as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? To teach us, right? Everything that Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita, he showed it in Bhagavatam through his devotees. And now through his own when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his own personality, he shows us all these principles of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll try to understand it through the topmost of all the Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu, these 3 principles. In very short, we can talk so much about it, but we'll really go through them. First, what does it mean to love Krishna? As established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. If you love Krishna, you have to love one and all who love Krishna. What does it mean? That means you have to, who loves Krishna? A pure devotee, right? As we are seeing. Who's on that platform? A pure devotee who's on the prema platform, you can say. You have to love that devotee. And we'll understand it through, I'll just mention the pastime because we don't have the time. How Mahaprabhu himself established these 3 principles. That a pure devotee, this Pradhan Vaishnava, will love one and all who love Krishna. So many pastimes we see in Gaur Leela, right? I was actually going to, till yesterday I had decided I will talk of Srivas Thakur. And then yesterday I was hearing a class of Maharaj, I heard this very, very sweet pastime of Sridhar Kolavich. You all have heard the pastimes, right? What a relationship Kolavich had with Mahaprabhu. Imagine how much Mahaprabhu loved Sridhar, that every day he would go and spend, he didn't go to Sridhar for 5-10 minutes, right? It is said. He would go and spend hours with him. Sridhar is a Kolavich. He's selling banana leaves, bananas, and Mahaprabhu is going and, he's talking with him. Hey, you are selling the banana leaves, very expensive. Out of love. I know you are very rich. You are only trying to show that you are poor. One day I will expose you. Imagine Mahaprabhu is going to his kutia, which doesn't have a roof, has more holes than a roof. And he's taking that, a pot which is broken, cracked, water also, you don't know what water is. Mahaprabhu took that water and drank it. Can you imagine? Mahaprakash Leela is going on. All the devotees are there, right? Who is Mahaprabhu remembering? Where is Sridhar? Many over there didn't even know who Mahaprabhu is mentioning. Who is he referring to? Go and call Sridhar. And see, when Sridhar comes, Mahaprabhu is offering him anything and everything you want. What you want? I'll give you riddhis, siddhis, whatever you want. What is the love of Sridhar for Mahaprabhu? What does he ask for? See, he could have asked, अच्छा मेरे को एक decent घर दे दो. मेरा धोती फटा हुआ है. At least give me 3 decent dhotis. Chalega. I don't want more. I'm a satisfied person. Those were nowhere. Sridhar Kolavich was so completely that there was these were nowhere on his agenda. What is he asking for? What did he ask for? I want that young boy who used to come and spend hours arguing with me, I want him to keep coming. Is that something worth, asking from the Supreme Lord? Of course, he is there as a devotee. What is he asking? I want that you should keep coming, and I want to have that wonderful loving exchanges. This is what is a Pradhan. This is a real Vaishnava. He will love all those who have love for Krishna. Now, how does this principle apply in our lives? At least I know I have not developed love for Krishna yet. At least I don't fall in this category. I can't say for anybody else. How does this principle apply in our lives? Very important. See, all these pure devotees who come in our lives, okay, Pradhan, Vaishnavas, pure devotees, one of them adopts a very important role in our lives. What is that role? Guru. And this principle applies there. At least if we cannot love all these pure Vaishnavas, we should have love for our Guru. Not Guru ka photo yahan pe laga dete hain. And I know of many institutions, I'm not being critical of them, I've learned lessons from them. They actually have to put photo of their Guru here and they put it outside so that everybody can see, you must be proud of your Guru and your institute. Okay, wonderful. But more important is outside, say inside. How much we love our Guru, how much we are ready to extend ourselves for our Guru. Because if love is there, then only you will extend yourself, right? Quresh was ready to give his life. He sacrificed his eyes, but he was ready to give his life for his Guru Ramanujacharya, right? Our Prabhupada. From the day he met his Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, till the last breath, what was his life? Surrender to Guru. At the age of 70, imagine boarding Jaladuta. What was the driver? What was the driving force of Prabhupada boarding Jaladuta at the age of 70, going through heart attack? He could have just gone to US and after 1-2 months, Bhakti Siddhanta, he told Prabhupada, I tried. Taken a return ship and come back. At the age of 70. What was driving him? His love for his Guru. And love means what? Sacrifice. How much are we ready to sacrifice and extend ourselves for our Guru? So, first level, if you love Krishna, means you have to love all those who have developed love for Krishna, the pure devotees. Now, somebody might say, ye thoda easy hai. Pure devotees क्या है? उनको खिचड़ी देगा, they are happy. If you give them pizza, they are happy. Very wonderful. But there's a next level. Not only do you have to love those who have developed love for Krishna, second is what? You have to love those who are aspiring to develop love for Krishna. ये मुश्किल है. Who are aspiring to develop love for Krishna? I don't know about you all. At least Prabhupada said we are all aspiring devotees, right? You have to love them. Mahaprabhu himself showed in his pastimes. I don't have the time, I'll just mention it. And all the Parshad, all his associates were also exhibiting the same thing. We know the pastime of that Brahmana who only drank milk, right? He came to Shivas. And the Shivas, please, I want to participate in the kirtans in the night. Now Shivas actually told him, no, this is only for very selected devotees. But he pleaded, please. Shivas allowed him to participate in the kirtan at the cost of his own. He knew Mahaprabhu will get angry, right? Shivas allowed him or didn't allow him? Allowed him. He hid him. Kona mein chup ke, huh? And when Mahaprabhu gets to know, what is Mahaprabhu's response? First, Mahaprabhu got very angry. You think only by drinking milk one can get Krishna Prem? Then everybody will get Krishna Prem. But then when Mahaprabhu saw this devotee, now he was not a pure devotee, he was thanking Srivas. Okay, thank you. At least one time I could attend. He was thanking Mahaprabhu. What was Mahaprabhu's response then? Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy. He called him back and bestowed his full mercy on him. Right? I'll tell you all of one very, very powerful pastime in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Isko thoda dhyan se suno. Because this is very relevant for us, how sensitive we should be also. One time one of Prabhupada's disciples who was married came to Prabhupada. And he came and told Prabhupada, I want your blessings. You know, lot of devotees used to come to Prabhupada for blessings for so many things. Prabhupada said, what blessing you want? He told Prabhupada, he was married. So he said, Prabhupada, I want to divorce my wife. Now, as per Vedic culture, divorce is not even an option. You have to live and die with your partner. So Prabhupada spoke to him for 1-2 minutes and all, and after that, Prabhupada told him, you have my blessings. And all the other devotees who were there, they dare not say anything because there's something very serious happening. And they were surprised. Prabhupada is blessing him to divorce his wife. So that devotee went away. And this was on the mind of all the devotees. Prabhupada ne kaise bless kar diya? And Prabhupada also knew. Next day, Prabhupada explained to the devotees. Very important, please understand this. Prabhupada told them, look, this devotee who came to me for blessings was already decided that he is going to divorce. Right? He was decided, main divorce karna hi wala. Now, if I would tell him no, to divorce and he goes and divorces, what he is doing? He is doing a guru aprad. And Prabhupada explained a guru aprad is higher than this aprad of a divorce. I had to save him for a guru aprad, so I gave him blessings. Can you imagine Prabhupada's love for us? Please meditate on this. How Prabhupada is protecting him. Because see, Prabhupada understood, ye log pure devotees, ye log abhi tak struggle kar raha hai. I have to help them. Prabhupada blessed him, protected him from a guru aparad. Lower aparad, theek hai, ho jayega. But guru aparad, we all know, right, what is the consequence of guru aparad. So we have to, please take home this. What is the next level? Love those who are aspiring to develop love for Krishna. Means we have to have a loving relationship with each other. Because my understanding is we are all aspiring to develop love, right? Some of us may be on that platform, I don't know, but most of us. Prabhupada ne kya bola? How can you show your love for me? How well you all cooperate among yourselves. That is why, dekho, there will always be differences. He might say A, I will say B. He might say C, I will say D. There will be differences. Prabhuji, how is it possible I love everybody? Can anybody raise their hand and say, I love everybody? Mushkil hai. Prabhupada ne uska solution diya. Okay, at least if you cannot love, what did Prabhupada say? Respect, keep a respectful distance. These are such powerful statements of Prabhupada. इसको यहाँ register करना पड़ेगा. हम distance रखते हैं, लेकिन respectful distance नहीं रखते हैं. कभी difference होता है तो क्या करते हैं हम लोग? I wouldn't want to talk to him. And then from a distance, anybody whom we, oh प्रभु, वो माता जी. प्रभुपाद ने क्या बोला? Keep a respectful distance. See, Prabhupada ने हमको बहुत compromise करके दे दिया, because Prabhupada knew we cannot love everybody. So he said, at least respectful distance रखो. Second level, right? First is love all those who have developed love for Krishna. Second, love those who are aspiring to love Krishna. And what is the third level? बचा क्या? You have to love everyone whom Krishna loves. Whom does Krishna love? Huh? Krishna loves everyone. So somebody might think कि प्रभु जी आप क्या बोल रहे हैं? If Krishna loves everyone, तो उसमें तो ये दो level भी आ गया ना, right? The aspiring devotees, pure devotees भी आ गया. So why separate it out? There are, I just 2 days before I heard this, there may be some who will love the pure devotees, aspiring devotees, but when it comes to whom does Krishna love? Love everybody. That is why specifically Mahaprabhu established this also, to love everybody whom Krishna loves. Krishna loves everybody. Mahaprabhu in Jharkhand forest, right? He's making animals dance, right? Why? He's making the tiger and the deer kiss each other. He's giving his Mahaprasad to Shivananda Sen, giving his love to a dog. Do you all know how disturbed Shivananda Sen became when he was not seeing the dog? Dog kahan gaya? Dog kahan gaya? Somebody may think, Prabhu, ye kya? His love. Mahaprabhu is giving his Maha to Shivananda Sen, to the dog. Dog went back. Prabhupada in California, after a morning walk, some of you all may have heard, he embraced 7-8 trees. आप लोगों ने सुना है? Everybody has heard this? He came out from a morning walk, and वहाँ पर तो बड़ा-बड़ा parks होता है. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees he embraced. And devotees didn't understand what Prabhupada is doing. Do you know what happened next day? There was a forest fire. And all those trees were burned to death. Prabhupada's love for those trees, because Prabhupada could see what's going to happen tomorrow. He's embracing the trees, giving them his mercy. Prabhupada is giving mercy to the dogs in Vrindavan. We've heard so many pastimes of his. So third level is what? Loving everyone whom Krishna loves. This is Pradhana Vaishnava whom Prabhupada is talking about. Samajh rahe abhi? And this Vaishnava, Prabhupada is saying, is a Vishnu Dut. Because what did the Vishnu Dutas do? They released Ajamil from the Yamadutas. And Prabhupada is saying the same thing the Vaishnavas are capable of doing. Release the conditioned soul from the noose of this material bondage and bring them and connect them directly to Krishna. I'm going to end with one realization, bolo, kuch bhi bolo of mine. When we meet this Pradhan Vaishnavas, our Guru or all these pure devotees, what should be our mood? What should be our prayer to them? Krishna she tomar, Krishna dite paro, tumaro shakati ache. Whenever we see a Pradhan Vaishnava, this should be our meditation. Here is someone, what? Krishna she tomar, Krishna dite paro, tumaro shakati ache. Krishna is your property and you are empowered to give Krishna. First understanding is that. And what is the next line? That's the important line. Ami to kongal, Krishna Krishna boli, dhai tav pache pache. How do you approach that Vaishnava? Not that, मालूम है मैं 5 lakhs donation देता है, so you are bound to give me Krishna. Ami to kongal. This is the mood. कंगाल जो होता है वो जमीन रास्ता में भीख मांगता है, वो he doesn't do 50 रुपए देता है कि नहीं. Ami to kongal. This is the mood with which we beg. Ami to Kangal, Krishna, Krishna boli dhai tava pache pache. Till you don't give me Krishna dhai, I'm going to run after you. I'm going to keep begging. This is the mood with which we should approach the Vaishnava. This is the mood with which every time we pay obeisances to Prabhupada, to our Guru, our senior, this should be the mood. Ami to Kangal. और कंगाल का मतलब क्या? कंगाल का मतलब does not only mean wealth. Kangal means at all levels. If you are a very good singer, think yourself to be a Kangal. I am not a good singer. As long as you are thinking I am a good singer, you are not a Kangal. If you are a good speaker and you think I give such wonderful, you are not a Kangal. Kangal means free from all this. What am I? I'm a faltu singer. I'm a faltu. With that mood, if we approach, that is the mood with which we approach the Vaishnava. And then the Pradhan Vaishnava, as we said, then in his presence, he connects us to the Supreme Lord. And then we can be in the same position that Ajamal is today. We'll see in the following verses, right? He'll give up everything, go away to Haridwar. By Prabhupada's mercy, we don't have to give up anything and go to Haridwar. We can practice the same thing sitting at home and attain perfection. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. If anybody has more than questions, any comments, if you all want to share, more than talking, I like hearing also. So I'll be around for a few minutes. You all can please share if you all have any questions also.